Breakfast was not particularly appetizing, but she was ravenously hungry after having been out late last night. She gobbled it down greedily and licked every remnant from the inside of the bowl. It tasted a bit like chicken, but she had long since given up wondering what it actually was. It was filling, and once you got used to it, it didn't really taste that bad, but in truth she preferred something that she could get her teeth into. She was definitely a girl that liked her meat. 3 weeks ago, when they had been laying together on the bed, one of the last times that Mr. B had been able to get up the stairs, if she remembered correctly, she had accidentally wet the bed. The most surprising thing about the whole episode was that Mr. B did not even seem to notice, or if he did, he was too polite to say anything about it, despite the fact that it stank to high heaven. It literally reeked, and so she could only assume that Mr. B wanted to save her feelings, and embarrassed as she was very grateful for that. Licking her lips to make sure she had not missed any bits, she heard the envelope flap and the unmistakable sound of a letter slap onto the parquet floor. She raced through to the hall and saw a white manila envelope with writing on the front. Almost certainly it was another letter for Mr. B. He was very particular about his letters, and she knew she would be in trouble if she damaged it. She had already accidentally trodden on it. There was a small mark, but no damage done. She was sure that the ink marks on the front of the envelope were letters, but to be honest, she couldn't really make them out. Really, the letter could have been addressed to anyone for all she knew. She listened carefully for the sound of snoring from the living room where Mr. B had recently been sleeping. Ever since he developed that bad leg, he had been sleeping downstairs now. She would have liked to have slept with Mr. B to keep him company, at least in the same room, especially since he had been coughing so much recently, but Mr. B complained about her flatulence. He said it woke him up at night. She could hardly tell him it was the brown stuff that he had been buying for meals. Of course, he had said it was all they could afford. Looking again at the envelope, she noticed some of the writing was in red ink. This was normally a sign that the letter was important. Probably it was official, and Mr. B would want to know about it immediately. In some ways, it was quite surprising that the clatter of the letterbox had not woken him up. She pushed the living room door open and wandered in. It was quite dark, though. She had always had really good night vision. Even when it was so dark that Mr. B was groping his way around, she could always see where things were. So even though the curtains were closed and the lights were switched off, she could easily make out the form of Mr. B laying flat out on the couch. She also could not help but notice the smell of urine and hope that she would not be blamed for that. She softly padded over towards the couch, enjoying the softness of the carpet on her bare feet. Since he was fast asleep, she jumped up and sat upon his chest. Despite the fact that she was incredibly delicate, normally it would have woken him up, but it did not. It was not until she curled up so that her face was snuggled under Mr. B's chin that she noticed how cold his skin was when normally it was extremely warm. It was also strange that his chest was not rising and falling as it usually did. She settled down to sleep, purring deeply, and wondered what was in the envelope.